Hi, my name is Hunter Ehle, and I'm a senior here at Concordia Lutheran High School. The title of my Senior Honors Academy project is Sketch to Shelf, and in it, I create a concept for a unique shoe design. So you might be wondering, what exactly is this project, and why did I choose this topic for my project? Well, as a part of the Honors Academy here at Concordia, all seniors are required to design or create something related to a topic they're passionate about. Personally, I'm really passionate about sneakers. And if you know anything about me, you definitely know this. And you can probably tell by some of my shoes that I have here around me. So, why exactly did I choose to make my own sneaker? Well, I've always really liked drawing and I've really enjoyed art. And I guess I really wanted to make a sneaker for a long time now. I always find myself drawing and sketching ideas for new shoes, so I knew right away that this is what I wanted to do. So with that, I'm really excited to show you guys what I got. As a part of this project, we have to choose a mentor to help us along the way and to guide us. The mentor I chose was Miss Heisler, who's one of the art teachers here at Concordia. I chose Miss Heisler because she's helped me with a lot of projects that I've had in art classes in the past and knows how to keep me on track. Miss Heisler, throughout this whole entire process of me creating my project, has done the same thing. She's helped keep me on track and she's provided me with good ideas throughout the whole time. Whenever I have anything that I've created, I know I can take it to her and she can kind of review it and give me that new perspective and point of view and maybe help me see something I didn't see in my own project before. So I'm really grateful that I've had Miss Heisler during this whole project process. She's been there to help me and answer any questions I may have and just give me feedback the whole way. So I'm really grateful for her. So let's talk about how I first began this process. Right away, I found this design process tough to begin with, which I was surprised by. I always found it so easy to draw up different designs in my sketchbook in the past, but for this project, it just wasn't clicking. I felt like I was waiting for some big idea to hit me. I started by sketching my favorite parts of different shoes I have, like these, in my collection, but I wasn't really getting anywhere. I felt like I was just waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for a breakthrough, so I was struggling for a while. Thankfully, I used research to break through. Now, you might be wondering, what does that mean? That sounds pretty complicated. Well, it's not as complicated as you think, but it definitely helped me a lot. As a part of this project, we also have to write up a research paper that has to do with the topic that we chose. So I chose creating a sneaker, obviously. So I had to go and do in depth research about the whole process of making a shoe from the early designing stages, like I'm doing, to actually getting that shoe to be manufactured by plants and then sent out to the stores for people to buy. So I really enjoyed doing that research part. I learned a lot. Like I thought I knew a lot about sneakers already, but learning about how they were made from the beginning to the end, from sketch to shelf, was really an enjoyable process for me. And while doing that, I learned a lot that really helped me with my own design. So while I was doing that, the main thing I learned was that you can't just draw up a shoe. You kind of have to have you do have to have a good concept behind it. You have to have an idea that's different, that's going to apply to the consumer. So through all the research that I did, I truly learned that. I learned that I had to have a concept that I was chasing. I had to have a certain thing for customers to follow, a reason why they'd want to buy it. I couldn't just draw up something that looked cool and have that be my design, and that's kind of what I was doing in the past. So this really helped me break through, I guess, and kind of just put me in the right direction for my whole design. So, after I had done all that research, I kind of wanted to start over. I scrapped all the early sketches that I did, and I kind of started anew. So, what I did is I started brainstorming and I worked on some new early sketches. And how I did that is, well, I looked again back on my own shoes and I started wearing them each day and I started thinking about what are the things that cause problems for me with these shoes. And for example, different shoes, like this one for example, I found hard for me to fit my foot into, and that was a struggle for me. So that was one thing I thought about. Other shoes I'd be wearing, and the laces kept falling out. Now, I'm somebody, most people probably aren't like this, but I'm somebody that when I tie my shoes, I hate when the laces just stick out and flop around as I walk, so I always tuck them into my shoe, but then that gets uncomfortable, and then they usually fall out and I have to put them back in again, stuff like that. So those were just two things from my personal experience that bothered me about my own shoes. So I took these concerns and I tried to just turn them into a focus that would be used in my own shoe design. So I used that, and I also used inspiration from other unique shoe designs. I started researching some of the more out there and different shoe designs, not the typical ones you might see from Adidas and Nike and places like that, but maybe the brands you haven't heard of. And I started looking at these unique shoe designs. I'll show some of them right here. And I kind of got inspiration from them on what I should do for mine. So that's kind of the whole brainstorming and early sketching process of my creation. So after all that brainstorming, I came up with 4 key concepts and components that I wanted to see in my own shoe model, and then I had to figure out how to bring them all together. Those 4 kind of key components were the lace covering system, the buckle that helped the whole lace covering system work, the upper ankle sock, if you want to call it that, that's what I call it, and a tightening system that would help with that ankle sock. So with all 4 of these different components, I had to figure out a way to bring them all together into one cohesive shoe model. Now that took more brainstorming and sketches, and it took a lot of work before I came up with a final model that I really liked, which you can see right here. It definitely took a while for me to come up with a model that implemented all these key parts that I wanted, but after all that work, I thought that it came together really well, and then I got all the key components into one place. I sketched that model in the outer form, as you can see here, but I also had to do the inner, the upper, the back or heel, and the sole. And also the insole, as you can see right here too. So, I'll let you guys see those pictures more in depth as I talk about the final design, but those were the rough sketches of kind of what those would look like. So after I brought all those key components together into one shoe model, I had to start thinking about materials. Now, for materials for my shoe, I knew right away I wanted the best high quality materials that would best serve the person who would buy my shoe. So right away, I started looking at my own shoes once again, and I started thinking about which materials held up well for me in my shoes and which ones didn't. Which materials felt the best and were best quality and would hold up for the longest amount of time and best served me for the right activities that I was wearing the shoe for. So after thinking about all that, I came up with the right materials for the different parts of the shoe. Parts like the lace cover and the buckle and the ankle sock, parts like the midsole and the outsole. Materials for those parts of the shoe are actually really important, and they can affect you as you wear the shoe in day-to-day life. Now, I use materials like nylon, suede, plastic, rubber, foam, leather. Materials like these are common in shoes that you wear every day, whether you know it or not. And a lot of those materials are also common in my favorite shoes, so I implemented those into my shoe design, and I think that they would work really well and serve the wearer and hold up for them as long as they need them to. So that's why I chose all those materials, and once again, you'll be able to see those materials later on when you see the final design that I'm going to talk about very soon. So now that I had figured out what the actual shoe model would look like, and I had the materials figured out, it was time to move on to the most exciting part, the tech pack. Now, you might not know what this is, so let me go ahead and explain. A tech pack is a document designers use to showcase their product. They show all the different angles of the product, which materials will be used, and how the technology works, things like that. So let me go ahead and walk you through it. First, let's talk about the model overview part of the tech pack. The model overview helps you kind of visualize the shoe because it shows the shoe from all different angles. It shows the lateral side, the medial side, the outsole, the the insole, the top view, and the back/heel portion. So this stuff's really important because instead of just having one view where you might see what the side of the shoe looks like, having all the different views kind of helps you really visualize it and see what the shoe would look like if it was a real product. Now that we've looked at the shoe from all of its different angles, let's further visualize it by looking at where the materials are. In the material part of the tech pack, we have all the materials listed out under the key, and then we have letters to indicate where the materials are in the shoe. Here, you see the outer view of the shoe all labeled, and you also see the insole next to it, which you can see is made of leather. If the wrong materials are in the wrong place, it can completely ruin the shoe for the wearer. So it took me a lot of time and research to figure out exactly which material should go where, so that it would best suit the wearer if this were to become a real shoe. Next in the tech pack comes the technology and key components section. Now earlier on we discussed the key components of the shoe. The lace cover, the buckle, the ankle sock if that's what you want to call it, and the tightening system. Now you might be wondering exactly how do these work in the shoe, so let me go ahead and tell you. In this part of the tech pack we explain how the technology of these key components works. On the left we talk about the upper sock. The upper sock is adjustable using a lace lock to conform to the user's ankle. You can pull that string inside of the upper sock tight or loose and then keep it there using the lace lock. This helps so you can loosen it when you first put your foot into the shoe, and then you can tighten it once your foot's already in so it'll conform around your ankle. Earlier I was discussing having trouble fitting my foot into certain shoes that were still my size, so this ankle sock helps because you can open up the opening to your shoe by loosening it, and then you can go ahead and tighten it using that lace lock. Now that we've talked about the upper sock and the tightening system to go along with it, let's go ahead and talk about the lace cover. The lace cover conceals the lacing system and can be buckled and unbuckled magnetically, making for an easy process. So when you want to tie your shoes, just unbuckle the buckle, and you can tie them, and then magnetically buckle it again so that the lace cover covers the laces. Easy as that. So those three parts make up the entirety of the tech pack. Now, another part of the tech pack that's very important, as you can imagine, is the shoe name. Now, I have to be honest, I did decide the shoe name at the end, but this was because I wanted to decide the name after everything was finished, and I could look back on my model and decide which name would fit it best. It took me a while, and it took me some consideration to figure out which would be best, but I chose the name Lckdwn. And no, this isn't because we're locked down in quarantine right now, trust me. It's because of the lacing system and the way it locks down the laces using the buckle. I thought that this would be a neat name because it applies to the shoe well, and it's almost like your foot is locked down in the shoe as soon as you clip that magnetic buckle. As soon as you lock it, you're good to go. Anyway, that's it for the tech pack. Like we talked about before, the tech pack is very important because it gives a chance for the designers to show everybody else exactly what their design is all about. It showed you the different angles and what the shoe would look like. It showed you the materials and which materials would be where. And finally, it showed you how the technology in the shoe would work if you actually wore the shoe. With the tech pack finished, I wanted to make an advertisement for my shoe to make it seem even more real. Even though you couldn't go down to the store and actually buy the shoe, I wanted to make it seem like you could. Here you can see the ad that I created with the help of my sister, Lexi. It says, "Would you dare to stray from the ordinary to get the superior?" This ad kind of pokes fun at the bigger shoe companies and wants you to give a shoe that you've never heard about a chance. Maybe it could provide you something better that you've never felt before. This ad was really enjoyable for me to create, and if this shoe was a real thing, I'd love to figure out how to market it to people. With all the designs, sketches, tech pack, and even an advertisement created, I was done with my shoe design. I had so much fun with this project, and while I worked on it, it didn't feel like work because I enjoyed it so much. Even though I thought I was a shoe expert before, I feel like I learned so much about sneakers and about the whole shoemaking process. Making my shoe design wasn't always easy though. There were times where I definitely struggled. Like I explained at the beginning, while I was first starting this project, I definitely struggled to come up with an idea of what I wanted to do. Doing the research paper, like I explained, definitely really helped me and helped me come to a good point. At some points, it could feel tedious and tiresome having to sketch so much and having to, for example, color in all the different views of the shoe, but I would say it was definitely worth it. It was a lot of hard work, but I knew in the end it would all pay off. If I wanted to, I feel like I could expand on this project even more, making the shoe seem even more real, I could go into things like marketing, like I explained before, what the actual price would be for the shoe, and what the measurements for the shoe would be in its different sizes. Even though I had so much fun with the project, I feel like this project really did help me. In addition to learning more things I hadn't learned before, I feel like I better learned how to manage big projects through this one, and I think that'll be really beneficial to me going into college. I'm so glad that I got the chance to do this project and that I chose the topic that I did. I got to accomplish my dream of designing a sneaker that I wanted, and that was really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see my unique shoe model and how I created it, just as much as I enjoyed the entire process of getting to make it. Thanks for watching.
So working with Hunter was definitely something that I was very excited about, and having him in class in the past, I knew he was super creative and extremely hardworking. So I was really eager to see what he came up with and how we could work well together. I think that Hunter has so much that he has going for him, and like his excitement about the things that he's interested in gets me excited about it. So it was really a big joy to see him kind of problem solve and like research and kind of dive deeper into the world of shoe design. And I had a lot of different things from college that I did when it came to like designing stuff and things like that. So we worked really well together, and it was really, really fun, and the end result was amazing, and he did such a great job, and I'm so proud of him, and I look forward to seeing when he comes up with his big, huge shoe company that's going to be really successful in the future, because I have a feeling that's something that we all will be blessed with in the future. So yeah.